Okay, gang, and now to get you all pepped up for the big game, here's our head cheerleader, Jose Jimenez.
All right, gang, I'm Jose Jimenez. Let's start out with a cheer for me. Couldn't happen to a nicer guy. All right, now let's have that old school yell. Are you ready? Old. School. Yell. Yeah, all right, gang. Are we gonna go out there tomorrow and get them? Yeah. Are we gonna go out and break their neck? Yeah. Are we going out there tomorrow and tear them apart? Yeah. Are we going out and win tomorrow? Yeah. Then we're in trouble because the game's today. What do you say we hear it for the team? Ricky Taki Taki Tiki Taki. Perfect. And now for the left hand, Ricky Taki's brother, Ruka Tiki Toki. Are we happy to have these Laotian exchange students with us? Now, what do you say we have that old locomotive? Are you ready? Yeah. D. I. E. S. E. L. Locomotive. And it's a very good locomotive, isn't it, gang? Yeah. Better than those old steam ones. All right, gang. Did you go over to the other high school and tear down their goalposts? Yeah. Did you burn our initials in their football fields? Yeah. Did you paint their school with our colors? Yeah. You're all under arrest. Okay, now let's do the old school cheer for our old high school. Here it is. Boom-a-like-a-boom. Boom-a-like-a-boom. Boom-a-like-a-bee. Boom-a-like-a-bee. Racky-ticky-toe. Racky-ticky-toe. Toki-racky-tay. Toki-racky-tay. Boom-a-ricky-tag. Boom-a-ricky-tag. Taka-ricky-boom. Taka-ricky-boom. Zippy-rippy-tippy. Zippy-rippy-tippy. Tricky-lacky-tratty. Tricky-lacky-tratty. Go out and really hit them. And make them feel very sorry that they came over here. And we will treat them and reject them. And if they have in their mind that they're going to beat us, then they're going to be very sorry.
Many of you young people will be leaving school and going out into the business world very soon. And some of you have decided on your careers and others have not. And to help you in making your decisions, we are proud to have with us a vocational guidance counselor for teenagers. How do you do, sir? May we have your name?
Yes, of course you could have my name. Oh, you want, to say it? Yes. Jose Jimenez. My name is Jose Jimenez.
Before you give any advice to the young people here, would you tell us how you became a teenage guidance counselor?
Well, you see, I went to my guidance counselor, and he said, Jose, you would make a marvelous teenage guidance counselor because you have the mind of a 13-year-old.
Sir, you are a guidance counselor.
Oh, Jack, would you believe it that just last year I placed 7 million teenagers in jobs?
No, I wouldn't believe that.
1 million?
No.
How about 78?
Well, that's a little more believable.
Well, still a lie. Last year I couldn't place anybody. I don't know. What's a lousy year for placing people?
Sir, one of the problems of teenagers today is selecting the proper college.
Yes, that's one of the problems.
Well, sir, do you think the teenager should select the Big Ten?
No, I think he should pick one and concentrate on that.
Well, do you recommend that most students go to college?
Yes.
You feel that college is absolutely necessary for a successful career?
Oh, yes.
Well, when you left high school, where did you go?
Well, I went to Harvard, then I went to jail.
Jail? You mean, sir, you mean Yale, Y-A-L-E.
No, jail, J-A-L-E. Yeah, because I didn't pay my tuition at Harvard. A-R-B-A-R-D.
So you went directly to jail?
Yes, I didn't even pass go and collect the $200.
let's get to some vocational advice.
Okay, I think that's about time.
You should know about the space field.
I know about the space field.
It's the one vocation, Jose, that you're qualified to discuss, that of space technology.
I am?
Yes.
Oh, thank you very much.
Well, you have been an astronaut.
Oh, yes, I was an astronaut.
Mm-hmm. Well, in space technology, do you have any differences with Werner von Braun?
Just on pronunciation.
You are acquainted with this branch of science, aren't you?
Oh, yeah, well, I know everything about science. I ever studied science, I know everything that ever happened in science. Only last week I was talking to Galileo.
Jose Galileo's been dead for hundreds of years.
I didn't say he answered me.
Mr. Jimenez, are you acquainted with German Titov, the Russian cosmonaut?
Oh, Herman Titov, yeah. A real pussycat. Yeah, well, you know, we had something in common. You know, when he was in orbit, he kept yelling, "I am eagle, I am eagle." And when I was in orbit, I yelled about a bird, too.
What did you yell?
I am chicken, I am chicken.
Well, sir, in conclusion, have you thought about making another trip in outer space?
Well, yes, well, I've been asked to do that, you know, and I wrote down my reply on a little piece of paper, which I like to call my resignation.
The American teenager has a constant desire to know how to conduct himself properly in society. To help you fulfill the desire, we're fortunate to have with us today one of America's leading authorities on etiquette. Our first question is this one. Is it proper to eat fried chicken with the fingers?
No. The fingers should be eaten separately. Always remember that, chicken fans.
And here is a question from a local high school student.
Yes?
And he says this: If I invited you to my house for dinner and I am serving escargot, should I serve white wine or red wine? Keeping in mind that escargot are snails.
I realize escargot are snails. That's why I'm not coming to your house for dinner. And stay away from that wine, you little kid.
A girl writes in this question, she says, "My little brother licks his fingers at the table. What can a big sister do to cure him of this habit?"
Well, she could remind him that he has a napkin and let him lick the napkin.
Now, here's a letter from a parent. Here's a letter from a parent.
Till I get this fuzz off my tongue. Yeah.
A letter from a parent of a teenager.
Yes.
It says, "Dear Dr. Jimenez, how can I keep my 19-year-old son from coming in every night at 3 a.m.?
Simple. Lock the door.
Lock the door.
Let him stay out there for a while, then maybe he won't fool around like that.
Here is another question, sir. It says, "I have a 14-year-old who tears up papers, ruins my furniture, spills his food all over the kitchen, and digs up my flower bed. What should I do with this 14-year-old?
14-year-old what?
They didn't say.
Oh, they didn't specify
The paper
that.
was torn up a little.
I see. Very funny, Hinckley. Keep it up.
Now, here's another letter. This one says, "My mother insists that I take her out on dates with me. What should I do?"
Well, just explain to her that you don't want to be seen with a married woman.
Thank you very much, Dr. Jimenez. And now, would you like to answer some questions from the audience here on etiquette?
I'll be very happy to answer some questions on etiquette from the audience.
All right.
Yes. If anybody has a question on etiquette, I'll be very happy to entertain that question at this particular time. Just raise your hand, making sure that the thumb is along the four fingers and the other hand is around the seam of the trousers.
Did you have your pants pressed before you go out on a date?
Well, certainly not during. Unless it's with the fellas. Yes.
Should you hold a car door for your date?
Should I hold a car door for the date? That's all you could afford was the door? really think you should hold it for her, yes, because if you're going to carry it around, it's the decent thing. If you get tired, ask her. Say you carry it for a block. Yes, young fellow.
How can one know what the proper apparel is for an occasion?
How can one know what the proper apparel is for an occasion? Just one, you're going out by yourself? You're going to be alone, what does it care? You know, wear some pedal pushers. But apparel is great if you're going to get dressed. It's nice. Yes?
Is it proper to take a girl to a drive-in movie on the first date?
Is it proper to take a girl to a drive-in movie on the first day? Yes. It is also very proper to bring her home. You will find that that will be greatly appreciated by the parents, except in certain specific cases where they would just soon have you keep her. Yes.
How do you feel about girls smoking?
Well, it all depends on where they are smoking cigarettes. For example, I don't think they should smoke while swimming. Yes.
I am a father of a teenage boy. How do I tell him about the birds and the bees?
Well, I think it's very easy to tell the difference. A bee is much smaller than the average bird. You're the father of a teenage boy. You just ask him anything you want to know. Yes.
What if you take a girl out and the girl is taller than the boy?
Wait a minute, say that a little slower.
What if you take a girl out and the girl is smaller than the boy?
The girl is smaller than the boy?
Yeah. Oh, it's taller. Taller.
Oh, you all date the same girl. Yeah. You're beautiful. Stand up here. Stand up a second.
Let's see.
You're a pretty good hummer, you know. Were you humming before when we were all humming?
No.
Let's try an experiment. Can you say one whole sentence without saying Go ahead, try. Say one whole sentence without saying
It's just a nice game.
All right, what is your question?
Should you ring the doorbell or knock on the door when you call for a girl?
How old are you, son? How old are you, son?
12.
You're 12. Are you asking this for a younger brother? Do you date girls?
Only twice.
Only twice? They won't go out with you after that? You must be a little wild one. Yes.
When out on a date, should a girl open doors for herself or wait for her date to be polite?
Well, it all depends on how long you want to stand there. You want to hang around, you know, with these guys today, you'll just stand there staring into that door.
What do you feel about teenagers in cars?
Teenagers in cars? I like to see teenagers in cars because it keeps them off the street. As long as they don't get behind the wheel. Yeah.
If a college student were to get a date with Bridget Bardot, where should he take her?
My house.
Do you think you should brush your teeth after every meal?
What side of the class were you on? Yeah.
What should I say if I happen to meet my girlfriend while on date with another girl?
Ouch! Yes.
How do you go about eating pizza in mixed company?
That's a very strange question. I guess what you could do is drive a nail through the middle of it and spin it. And let everybody grab a piece when it comes by.
Should you wear Bermuda shorts to school?
You talk funny. Should you wear Bermuda shorts?
To school.
Yes. If you go to Bermuda High. Yes. If you have a question, just speak right up, and I will be very happy to answer the question.
Do you think that drive-in movies lead to early marriages?
Depends on what time you get there. Yes.
Do you have any insight as to what makes teenagers drop out of school?
Yes, I think faulty floors. Yeah.
How old should a girl be on her first date?
A little older.
You said you were going to give us a sample of your ordinary voice.
I'm glad you brought that up.
The teenager of today has proven himself adept in many areas, but it is in the field of sports that the teenage star really shines. We have with us today a teenage baseball star. May we have your name, please?
My name is Jimenez, the teenage baseball star. There you go, baby boy. Take that ball, baby boy.
I understand that you're a pitcher.
Yes, I'm a pitcher.
Have you played other positions?
Oh, yes, I've been an outfielder. I was a shortstop, and I was a third baseman.
Mm-hmm. Now, what position do you feel most secure in?
Kind of curled up like this with my blanket in my hand.
Now, really...
I wish I had my blanket here now.
That's a bit childish, isn't it?
Excuse me?
That's a bit childish,
well,
isn't
I'm
it?
a bonus baby.
Oh, I see. I've heard, Jose, that for a pitcher, you're quite a long ball hitter.
Oh, yes, but one time I hit a ball that was this long. The pitcher had to throw it like a spear. As a matter of fact, there was a spear. Well, some call it a spear, others call it an arrow.
Well, let's get back to your record as a pitcher.
Okay.
Did you lose any games this season?
Well, I misplaced my Monopoly set.
No, I don't mean that. No, sir, I'm talking about baseball games.
Oh, baseball
Your
games.
pitching record.
Oh, I see.
How many different kinds of pitches do you have?
Well, I throw a fastball, I throw a slow ball, I throw a screwball, and I throw a canonical ball.
Uh-huh. Now, when you face a powerful hitter like Mickey Mantle, what do you throw?
Up. Baby boy, get that there, baby boy. Here you go. Here's one.
So why, I want to ask you a question. Why do you keep yelling baby boy all the time?
My catcher's only 3.5 years old. Oh. He's a bonus baby, too.
Sir, I've been noticing that you have those gestures that many pitchers have. Rubbing the bill of your cap, and then you run your fingers across your shirt, and then on your trousers.
That's right.
Is that nervousness?
No, I'm just still using that greasy kid stuff. I can hardly wait till I grow up so I can use that other stuff.
I understand.
They won't sell it to minors, you know.
In conclusion, sir, is there anything you'd like to say to aspiring teenage ball players?
Oh, take a shower.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are privileged to have with us a man whose presence is extremely appropriate at our teenage gathering. The Chief Guidance Counselor for the Sociological Advancement of the Youth of America.
Thank you. Very much.
May we have your name, please?
My name, Jose Jimenez.
And you are the Chief Guidance Counselor for the Sociological Advancement of the Youth of America?
I am the Chief Guidance Counselor for the sauce. My name Jose Jimenez.
Mr. Jimenez, how do you feel about teenage drivers?
Is there one coming?
Hardly, sir. We're up here on a stage.
I don't care where you are, they'll get you.
Let's change the subject.
Okay, if you know how.
Sir, have you been to drive-in theaters?
Oh, yes, I've been to drive-in theaters.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I've been there.
Well, teenagers go, of course, and they do an awful lot of necking. Don't you think that all that necking spoils your enjoyment of the movie?
They show movies? That's not a bad idea. I never thought of that.
Sir, what do you think about teenage clothing?
Well, I think if it gets that old, you should throw it out. Although I do have a 14-year-old sweater I'm crazy about.
I see.
How old is that jacket? That's kind of cute. Yeah.
Thank you. There's been much said in the newspapers and on television that today's teenager is an explosive person, capable of extreme violence. Would you care to comment on that?
What, and get killed?
Then teenagers are violent.
He said it.
Well, in conclusion, sir, would you say today's teenager is different?
Okay. Today's teenager is different. All right, students, simmer down now. Not that way. All right, children, today we are going to approach a wonderful subject called history, the study of old things. Today we are going to discuss quite a very famous history person. His name is Columbus. Now, you have all heard the little poem, in 1492, Columbus sailed all over the blue ocean. Well, the Columbus they were referring to in that cute little poem is none other than the same Columbus that found out where the United States was. Let us turn our attention to some of the little-known, well-known facts. What was that? Some of the little well facts known about the marvelous trip that Christopher Columbus took. By the way, that was his name, Christopher Columbus. Don't confuse him with Ralph Columbus. That was his cousin who was a doctor. First of all, Christopher made the trip on 4 ships. The Nina, the Pinta, the Santa, and the Maria. But I'm getting ahead of my story. In the first place, Columbus had a lot of trouble because he told people that he thought the world was round. And they said, don't be silly, Christopher Columbus, the world is flat, and if you go far enough, you're going to fall off. He said, I don't think so. But even his mommy and daddy said, Ralph, they wanted him to be a doctor. They said, don't be silly. You must listen to what we say. We are adults, and that makes us older. But he still wanted to go. So we went to see Queen Isabella, who lived in the Spanish section of Europe. She said, how's Ralph? After quelling his sibling rivalry, they dispensed with the formalities, and he hung around for a few years in and out of jail until Isabella sold some of her real expensive costume jewelry, enough to buy 4 used boats. And then off they went. Well, it was one thing after another. First off, a terrible storm flooded all the engines. And I guess the only reason they didn't give up was because they heard there was crazy surfing in the United States. Anyway, finally, some guy up in the crow's place yelled, land ho, land ho! And they all yelled, shut up, shut up! But when they realized what land ho meant, they got all excited, and they were just going to have a party when they fell off the end of the earth.
One of the biggest controversies in connection with the teenager of today is the problem of the teenage marriage. To discuss this, we have with us the well-known marriage counselor, Jose Jimenez. Now, sir, as a marriage counselor, you must have been confronted with a problem that has a lot of adults concerned.
Oh, yes, I've done that.
I'm referring to the upsurge in the number of teenage marriages.
Mm-hmm.
Has there been an increase in the number?
No, still one marriage to a couple. Some places they try to raise it, but they all get in trouble.
Sir, on this question of teenage marriage, do you have any opinion about what is the biggest trouble involved?
I do.
What is it?
That's it, I do. Once you say I do, you're in big trouble.
Sir, do you think that a boy of 16 is old enough for marriage?
Well, I think you gotta safely say, and you could quote me on this, that a boy of 16 is old enough if he is intelligent and considerate and loyal and thrifty.
And you think that would make him a good husband?
No, to make him a swell Boy Scout.
Dr. Jimenez, if two teenagers did get married, should they set up housekeeping or live with their parents?
I think that they should live with their parents. He should live with his parents and she should live with her parents.
Well, then don't you think it's rather silly to get married?
I didn't think you cared.
Sir, I'm talking about the problem of teenage marriage.
Oh, teenage marriage. Well, everybody talks about teenage marriage, but look into history. Romeo and Juliet, for example. Now, they were teenagers and they got married.
But, sir, that was a tragedy. Romeo and Juliet both died.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Well, what do you feel, sir? What do you feel about
They really passed away?
Yes. Very sad.
Son of a gun, the way things happen.
Yeah. What do you feel about the role of the teenage parent?
I think that the role of the teenage parent should be played by Fabian. All right, stop that murmuring. Not that simmering. You simmered down before I asked you. Let us now talk about some other nice history people. One of the nicest was one of the first presidents we ever had in the United States, George Washington. Remember that name? Now, he was a very patriotic man. He was so patriotic that he even named himself after our wonderful capital city, Georgetown. Now, when George Washington was a little boy, he lied to his daddy. His daddy said, "George, you lied." And George said, "That's all right, Daddy, I'm going into politics anyway." His daddy said, "Why did you chop down my cherry tree with your little orchard?" And George said, "Because bulldozers ain't been invented yet." His father smiled and patted Georgie on the head with his fist. And he said, "George, nobody likes a smart aleck." Later on, there was a big war between the little small United States and a great big country called England. George Washington got so sore about that he right away became a general, went down to Valley Forge and threw $50 across that river. Well, this was confusing enough to those enemy people. But when he saw George Washington standing up in the front of that little boat, posing for a picture, well, they got so upset, they all went back to New York, got on the Queen Elizabeth, and went home. George Washington was so happy about this that he fell off the end of the earth. My fellow classmates, as we stand here in these hollow halls, I am reminded of our dear old alma mater. And I would like now to sing our alma mater a song. I will sing it for you without music, Acapulco. Hail to to thee, our alma mater. Wave your banner through. We salute the red and yellow, orange, gold, and blue. Beige and purple, black and fuchsia, let your colors fly. Green and brown and pink and crimson, my technicolor high. Oh yes, my dear old high school alma mater, I remember you so well. I remember your unusual ivy-covered walls. They were unusual because the ivy was growing on the inside. That ivy grew pretty thick. I remember how we used to walk from class to class, our books in one hand and a machete in the other. Oh, how I remember with such fondness my high school days. And I remember those wonderful teachers who had such a great influence on my life. Mr. Jenkins in English 21, Miss Haley in Algebra 13, Miss LaRue in Physical Education 36, 24, 36. But my real love was pretty little Harriet Hammerschlag. I remember how I carved her initials on the tree. J.J. But her initials will always be carved in my heart. Harriet was always careless with that machete. But high school wasn't all fun and play. It was also hard work and studying. Oh, yes. I remember the year I brought my report card home. All A's. A D, a F, another F. The biggest moment of all was graduation day. Yes, the day that all we kids went out into the world, took one look around and came right back. Yes, I shall never forget you, my alma mater, and I will never forget your song. Pink and yellow, orange, purple, always on my mind. I salute your brilliant banner, though I